No, stop it. Hello, everyone. We're here. We're making it happen. How are we gonna see the chat? Okay, here we go. This is a good angle. Yeah? What a great angle. Check out the camera skills. Okay, hold on.
Nice. Look at that tank. It's already got war scars.
We got.
Okay. Mine.
I don't know how to.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. I'm trying to give you guys a good angle here. I don't know how to.
Is this the low angle shot
Does
now?
anybody want to see Dive Talk 001?
If you see questions, please answer them.
Hey, what's going on, everybody out there in Dive Talk universe? We got a Dive Talk BlueWorld kind of fun party going on here in Florida.
Definitely. These guys are rocking their Dive Talk Go crossover.
Yeah.
It was a first day, great day, and we're gonna do way more tomorrow. Ocean with our Dive Talk Go. Well, I don't want to hold it up because I got tons of Sorb in it. Oh, I'm about to dump that Sorb.
So,
Ready? Sorb dumpage.
we're dumping the Sorb. So, hello. Getting ready for tomorrow's big adventure, our final day of our crossover class. So, I am going to have another epic sea card. So, I have Brian K. Cook, who certified me as a cave diver. And then I have Ed Sorensen, who certified me on the Sidewinder. And now I'm going to have Woody, who certified me on the Dive Talk Go Rebreather. This cute little rebreather that's like the size of a briefcase. Yes, it is so cool. And you might be wondering, why am I getting another rebreather?
Jonathan, why are you getting another rebreather?
That is such a good question, Gus.
Justin, the
and
line was going so well until you walked in.
The answer to that is because this is the perfect rebreather to do so many things that we do with BlueWorld, where we need a lightweight, travel-friendly rebreather that makes no bubbles, but isn't quite as complicated and hard to deal with in the field as a Sidewinder. Like, a Sidewinder is a really good cave diving rebreather, but for a lot of things, it's kind of overkill. It's a lot of rebreather to be carrying and to be working with off a boat. And this thing is like, it's like this. This thing is so cool. So Todd and I are here. Todd, say hi.
Hi, everybody. How's it going?
So we're here getting our certifications, and we're gonna have a C card from Woody. How cool is that?
It's going to be go time.
Yeah.
I'm the one that's on it.
I'm not going to
I get to certify
Go time.
legends, so
And I just get to sit back and eat popcorn and watch.
Right.
Enjoy the show.
Seems to me like you are doing all the heavy lifting of this operation. Gus had to drive all the way down here from Georgia in the. Do they know about the Dive Talk event?
we haven't put it on video yet.
Oh.
We need to. We're gonna do it when we wrap it. It's pretty amazing.
They got a rolling dive shop that they brought down that has everything you could possibly need in it, and it's our rolling rolling dive shop.
It is a rolling dive show.
Like
Right.
tonight, we're gonna fill our O2 and fill back up our nitrox bailout dill tanks right here in the driveway of our Airbnb because it's a full compressor and fill station.
Maybe we should film that.
Yeah, we can film that. That's a
We
great
could
idea.
live stream that.
People don't want to see that. They don't want to see the van. They don't.
They don't want to see the van?
No.
Oh, you're right. They probably don't want to see the van.
Yeah.
They probably don't. You definitely should not give them a tour of the van.
I'm going to get Sorb.
They don't want to see that.
There's
Sorb is awesome. Here. Sorb is a good thing.
there's
So we should probably answer some questions.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Questions.
I don't do a lot of live stream. Oh, ML Johnson says, let's see the van. So we're going to have to go see the van. We'll do that in a minute. Let me see. What else?
Where's the trash?
The comments like kind of just randomly pop up. You got a compliment on looking like a pimp?
Thank you, I guess. Thank you.
What do you get when you cross a scuba diver with a janitor?
That's okay. Starting with the terrible jokes.
Taylor says hi. What's up, Gus?
Hi. What's up?
Jacques Custodian. That's pretty good.
Excellent.
Let's see. Have you ever used a Draeger rebreather? Yes.
Yes.
Back in 1999, I had a Draeger Dolphin. I used it for like 6 years. And it was a semi-closed, and, you know, compared to what we have now, it was very primitive. And there are times when I look back and I'm surprised that I didn't get killed on the thing. But I actually did do some very good work on that rebreather back in the day.
So one audience member asked, when will the Dive Talk Go be available?
That's a great question, and I'm going to tell you that the digital learning platform for Dive Talk Academy, because we're building our own scuba agency, is probably about 45 to 60 days away. After we go through then testing it, putting people through it, look at it, test it, at that point will be when we will release it all to the public. And the learning platform is pretty epic.
Wasn't it written by ChatGPT?
Some of it. What is it?
I was teasing.
No, it's really, really world class. I can't wait for everybody to see it.
So, yeah. We're like, what we're doing is, you know, we're helping by being guinea pigs, right? I mean, we're kind
Yes.
of, we're early adopting, and we're testing out your training and your
everything's
checklists
gone
and
okay.
all that stuff. And yeah.
With us still.
You know, what's amazing to me about this thing is that it's so much like a Sidewinder and how it works. It's physically much different, but at the basic way it works level, it's pretty much the same kind of deal. And so it's really, really easy if you've used, you know, a KISS rebreather to use a Dive Talk Go, because it's a very similar operating principle.
They're both mechanical rebreathers. They both have a constant mass flow.
Look at these guys.
It's just a little bit of a smaller Sorb bin. It's about 4.1 pounds. We have that Sorb, and the camera lungs are a little smaller, and it's great for like a beautiful 2-hour drift dive. You just clip it to any recreational BC. I'm diving it on like an aqua long recreational BC. Just clip, 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 clip. Sits right here. So easy.
Okay. This is really primitive, but here's a picture of me trying it on last night for the first time. You can see it's basically, it's a rebreather that mounts on your front, and what you wear on the back is just a regular scuba tank. So the idea is that, you know, you can go out on a dive boat with your regular scuba tank, with your tank in the rack just like everybody else's, and your rebreather can just be tucked under the bench with your fins. And when it's time to dive, you can just pull it out and you snap it on the front, and into the water you go. And it's not like you need any special treatment, but you're down there with no bubbles, not scaring the fish, just being silent and having the rebreather experience. It's pretty fun. You guys packing them so soon? I was going to let mine air out a little. I guess it's aired out.
Yeah, because we got a lot of other stuff to do. Yeah, so that's what we're all doing. We're changing our Sorb. We've had about 2 hours on them, and we're changing it. Maybe a little more than 2 hours on it.
No, this is the one we used.
I thought we used it more. Oh, hey.
Let's see. What other questions do we have?
Someone's going to have to read the questions while I dump some Sorb. Questions.
How would this rebreather work with the Hollis Katana? Clip it right on the front.
However you dive open circuit, this rebreather will work by strapping it on your chest.
It doesn't matter which.
Yeah, but
What we're trying to tell you is, look, it clips right to any D-rings on your existing harness. So, doesn't matter. If you want to dive at back mount, no problem. That's irrelevant. You're going to have your normal open circuit kit on. If you want to dive at side mount, no problem. It'll just clip to your chest. And it's small. It's smaller than any chest mount rebreather, at least that I've ever seen. I would say the weight probably with the Sorb and the O2 tank is probably about 12, 16, maybe about 16-ish pounds or something like that. It's very light, super easy to carry on a boat. Doesn't take up like 2 spots on a boat. So it's great. Woody, glad to see you doing well. Thanks, man. I feel great. And I'm moving away from her for a second just while I'm packing my own rebreather. When we pack this, this is how we make sure that the Sorb doesn't, what we call channel. So it doesn't create channels, literally channels that CO2 would just go through and bypass the Sorb. That's why we do this process of packing.
Can we do a little perspective on what you're doing?
You see? So it has a screen on the top and it's basically packing down the Sorb.
Can you take that screen off and show them what the Sorb looks like, or is that going to mess up your packing
No,
job?
it won't. So here it is. Sorb, right? The air comes in, it circulates around this Sorb, which removes the CO2, and then it goes into, it's not set up right now, so it's hard to explain it, but it goes into counter lungs that hold the air as you exhale, and then you breathe back in, and it comes back in and goes back into your breathing loop and into your mouth. That's a very quick way of explaining it, but that's pretty much what they do.
It's just kitty litter.
Right.
It's like breathing in and out of a bag, but it has the ability to add back the oxygen that you metabolize, because we all metabolize O2, right? When you exhale, you only exhale about 16%. So eventually you would get hypoxic if we didn't add back oxygen, and it removes the CO2. That's what's going on with every rebreather.
There was some comment, sorry, I'm putting this thing back. There was some comment about the blue of my rebreather, and yes, it's painted in BlueWorld colors. Is that an option?
There will be color options, but
You can get it in BlueWorld blue. Yeah. How long does a rebreather extend your dive by? Well, it depends on the rebreather. The Sidewinder, people run that thing for 5 or 6 hours. Whereas this one has a smaller scrubber, so it's not rated as long, and it's not really designed for that kind of work. It's designed to be more like a stealthy, bubble-free, kind of recreational rebreather, whereas a Sidewinder is sort of specific mission built for long cave dives. So kind of different, different purposes. But, here's the thing that's interesting. This is the bottle of oxygen that you carry with this rebreather. It's 0.9 liters, which is to say it's 6 cubic feet. A normal scuba tank is 80 cubic feet. This is 6 cubic feet. This will go twice as long as a normal scuba tank on a rebreather.
This is the inside, so you can see we have 3 oxygen sensors. So we're reading what the partial pressure is of our oxygen at every point in the dive. And that way we can control our partial pressure of oxygen, which is controlling basically ultimately how much deco we would have to do. And other things affect the length of how long a rebreather will be, because basically it's going to be affected by your workload, right? If you're working really, really, really hard, you're using more and more and more of that Sorb. So there's no real general rule, but we really want, ours has really got about 4.1 pounds of Sorb. So for a very mellow dive, you're not working really hard. We're saying these are like 2-hour rebreathers, which is really conservative for 4.1 pounds of Sorb.
I'll read the question. I'm done.
Yeah, snacks for sure. Would you consider the Go as a beginner rebreather? Sure. Of course, it's a good option.
It's actually a terrific option for your first rebreather.
Yeah.
It's relatively simple. It's not too expensive.
Can you be a cave diver if you're bad at math? I mean, I don't
know, can you?
It just doesn't add up.
get it.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I think so.
If you want to know what partial pressure is, we did a video on that over on BlueWorld Plus.
Right. Price point, it's gonna depend because of the options. So we want to offer options, like colors and things like that. So depending on the options that you pick, the price point is going to change. But of course, even if you pick the Elite model, which is all the options you can get, it's still going to be way less expensive than,
Anything that we've seen on the market.
anything that's in the market. Yeah. I mean, we made it for recreational divers, people that come to us and say, I want to get into them, but I can't afford them. I don't really plan to do any cave dives or 10-hour long dives. This is the unit for you. We're not competing with those big other units. Hi, Terry. She said,
But with that said, understand that it does exactly what every single other expensive rebreather does.
Yeah.
It's just smaller. You're not getting less or lesser quality or lesser mechanics. It's the same mechanics as a Sidewinder.
yep,
Same thing. Constant mass flow, mechanical rebreather.
shear water controller. Yeah, good stuff. Is it a launch date? Not yet.
Soon though, right? I mean,
Pretty soon.
Not like we're months, not
No.
years.
Yeah, weeks probably. So the unit is ready. As you can see, we're diving it. We're not diving a prototype. We're diving the production unit. But there's no point on releasing it and asking people to buy it if we don't have the training agency set up and you're able to get trained and learn how to dive it. So that's really what we're working on right now, is finishing the training side of things. So then when you buy your unit, you can get trained right away and you can start diving it. That's what we're working on.
One of the things we do when we put things back together on the rebreather is they have O-rings, right? So we re-lubricate them. This is one of the counter lungs, so it sits in there nicely, doesn't crimp, because we don't want any bubbles coming out of a rebreather. But if we see bubbles in a rebreather, that's no bueno.
Yeah.
You want to rebreathe your same air over and over. Bubbles mean you have water going into it, and that can be bad because it can become caustic, where the Sorb turns basically toxic. It turns like into alkaline. Not good. Look at that.
Bubbles equals no bueno. Yeah.
Yep, bubbles, no bueno.
Plans for shipping to Europe. So right now we're launching in the US mainly. So we hope that we can go global, of course, and be able to offer them in Europe and Australia and everywhere. But I think that the demand will be high enough within the US initially. And that's where we're focusing. If you want to fly from Europe, come to the US and buy a unit. I think that will be faster than waiting for it to go to Europe. But we hope that it will obviously be global.
Also, on the when we bring up the Dive Talk Academy website live, we'll have a list of the qualified instructors. They'll have their little bios on there. They'll have their pricing on there. So that'll help you decide, who you want to get trained
And
with.
are you going to be one of those
I
instructors?
mean, I am, but my problem is time, honestly. And there's probably way better ones, to be honest with you, than me. But yes, I will be one of them. But there's really some great instructors that are going to be able to teach you on this unit, and that's growing.
And Woody's a really great instructor, and I really like his style because he never yelled at me at all today.
Because I had no reason to. Because
no.
basically I was like, do this, do that, do this, do that. And they're like, okay, whatever. That's what they do. They're like, what's next? I mean, can we want to dive a little? Yeah, you're good. No, they really, you can tell there's a big difference when somebody's crossing over from a KISS rebreather onto the Dive Talk Go, right? Because it's exactly the same procedures for the skills. I don't have to re-explain that to them. It's already, they understand, oh yeah, that would make sense to do that because they've already gone through pretty significant, I almost said the word severe. Maybe that is also okay.
Traumatic.
Traumatic, difficult, hardcore training with honestly one of the greatest instructors in the world, I think. Hard, but amazing with Ed Sorensen. We all have been trained through Ed. So they were very prepared, and you can tell they were trained by one of the greats. So my job was easy. Yep.
Well, it is nice doing a crossover on this because this unit, it has all the same controls that the Sidewinder has. They're just in a different place. So you just have to learn the new placement of how it works, but it's the same function.
I think, what I think of this is I wish I had this as my first rebreather when I started years ago.
Seriously?
because it's simple, it's safe, it's open, it's a great open water unit.
Thank you,
It's
guys.
very comfortable to dive. And this is where I would start. So thank you for introducing us to this, because it's a fantastic little place to get into rebreather diving and to extend what you're doing today in open water. You don't have to use a rebreather just in caves and overhead environments and doing crazy deco. If you're a reef diver, this is exactly what's going to allow you to stay on the reef longer and safer.
Yeah. And I remember when I started diving, just being like so envious of people who can go a whole hour, you know, with an aluminum 80, and I'm like,
Yeah.
25 minutes, 30 minutes in, and mine is already at 1,000 psi. I'm like, oh boy, this is not gonna be good. Well, if you're one of those people, I think that the Go is gonna be a game changer. Now you can stay on there for 2 hours.
You can breathe all you want. The rebreather doesn't really care if you're a heavy breather.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know,
Awesome.
If you're somebody who runs that aluminum 80 down in 20 minutes, then a rebreather is going to like prevent that from being a problem. You're not
Right.
heading back to the boat, shortening your buddy's dive.
Yep. So you can see it's reading all 0.21, which it should, because that is the partial pressure of air. And we're at sea level here in Florida, and we're breathing air.
I hope.
And so it says 0.21. So what I'm going to do now is a positive and negative. Remember we said we don't want any bubbles. So I'm going to inflate it, that's called a positive, and make it sure it holds that pressure. And you'll see the partial pressure go up when I do that. So it's kind of a digital confirmation of the positive as well.
Yeah.
And while he's doing that, I'm going to tell you about something that I'm using this rebreather for. One of the reasons that I've asked these guys to maybe move up the schedule for us a little bit is not only because, you know, we want to be special and we're anxious, but we're working on an IMAX film about dolphins, and I think having no bubbles is going to make it really interesting to film these animals in a way that will give me a unique insight. And that's, if you're a photographer, a little rebreather like this, like you got a camera to deal with and you want to do technical camera work, you don't want a really complicated rebreather on top of that. And this is like the greatest way to have that no bubble, don't disturb the animal's experience that doesn't require so much equipment on top of the camera. I love that.
See, they had the lake, they had this big fish. And like I got so close to them and they were just staring at me like, what kind of fish are you? And
Right.
I'm just there like in trim, just looking at it. And we're just like staring at each other, none of us moving. I'm like, wow, this is so cool.
Todd put his finger out at like a bass and he came in to eat it. You were like, whoa. I'm like, dude, he's gonna bite your finger. Like, he's not afraid of you.
Yeah.
It really is amazing when there's no bubbles. The marine life simply thinks maybe you are a fish as well. You know, you're underwater, not loud. And anyway, you can see, right? This is like a filled up balloon and it's been held in for more than a minute. It's completely solid. And now I'm gonna pop it. I'm gonna release that pressure and you're gonna hear it. That's a good sound. You wanna hear that. And the partial pressure is dropping. And now I'm gonna suck all the air out of it and make sure it holds negative, like crimp it. So that's what I'm doing next. And every time we rebuild our rebreathers, you can see the PO2 is dropping, which is great, it should be. Every time we rebuild them, we do a new positive and negative because you took it apart. So now you're putting things back together, make sure they're properly sealing.
Yeah, anytime you unseal the O-rings and then reseal them again, you gotta check and make sure that it's really sealed. There we go.
You can see
Now you're
it's,
doing your negative.
you see how it's like crimped up, like tight. You see how it's like just holding tight, and the partial pressure. Look, remember it was 0.21, now it's down to 0.18. I took the pressure away basically, so that's a good sign. And when I pop it back open, I would love to see this even move up a little, like just a tiny bit. That means that the negative was holding. So I like to do them for a good minute each one, at least. Let them hold.
By the way, I just wanted to thank the people that did super chats earlier. I didn't see your name because I was all the way to the end of the table, but thank you so much for the super chats, by the way. Get closer and answer some questions. Hello, everyone. Thank you for all the content. Thank you for watching. Come to Egypt. We would love to go to Egypt. That sounds like a good idea. Do the arch.
Yeah, we did
Good
a
to go.
video on it. All right, I'm going to release this negative that I just told you about. I love hearing this sound. I'm going to get a little goosebumpy, maybe a little teary-eyed. Oh, that's not. I love
So I've
that.
seen this question several times. I guess it's being spam, and they keep asking, "Why do you get banged? Why do you get banged?" We don't know. Nobody will know. Nobody will ever know.
What do we not know?
By
Why
the
would
way,
he got banged?
notice that the
Like,
partial
what was the
pressure.
specific reason?
Yeah, we
don't
don't know.
When I released the negative, it just popped right back up. So my positive and negative is bueno. I'm very happy about it.
All right.
That's
Any
good.
more questions?
This thing's so easy to
Is
put
this a
back
crossover episode?
together. Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about doing a crossover episode, but no, this is just a live stream.
We're just having fun.
Well, we love diving with them. I mean, I don't know. I feel like we all are very relaxed together underwater.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah, we
mean?
have
We're just
fun.
relaxed and we have fun. And I love that because I want that to come back into diving. I talk about it all the time in Dive Talk. Don't forget, at least for me, the only reason I dive is for fun. It's not a competition. I'm not trying to be better than anybody else. I'm not an explorer. If I get to explore, it's only because I'm going with real explorers that are sort of holding my hand in the cave. and
Don't
I'm
point
good-
to me. I'm not doing that.
I'm good with that. Like diving is fun. We should all help each other. We're not in competition. We just want to enjoy something that's kind of cool that we get to do and see the underwater world and learn more about the environment and the planet. And I hope that happens with Dive Talk. I hope we're helping with that. I try to.
I think that divers, people who learn to dive, become extremely interested in the marine environment and end up becoming strong advocates for ocean conservation. And so I feel like divers are almost like first line of defense. They're the people that cry foul when they see things that aren't cool and they want to do something about it. So I feel like divers are really actually very important environmental force for good. And
Except for those people in Curacao that you told us that.
right, exactly. Except for those fish eaters.
Well, I may or may
But,
not have eaten some fish for lunch.
But yeah, so to answer the question about the crossover, we've been sort of trying to film a little bit this weekend, but like we're actually being trained, so we have to actually focus on doing the class, and he's got to actually teach the class. And so we've been filming like a little. We might be able to get like a short, like a fun little thing. It wouldn't be like a full episode, but we'll probably do some kind of fun little thing out of it.
Yeah, I mean, and they flew through the skills. Tomorrow will be better filming because we'll be in the ocean and we'll be in the Jupiter area. So the flow is nice, the current is nice, which keeps the water clear. Typically, there's a lot of shark encounters there as well. So hopefully we'll see a bunch of, could be silkies or lemons or bull sharks. And there'll be like about 90-foot, two 1 hour 90-foot dives on an operator that we all love. So that should be a good time to do some filming. Will be tomorrow.
Yeah.
See some questions.
Woody, are you ready for another workout?
I'm a little out of shape. My bottom.
Listen,
portion.
that is not true.
good
So
right
today
now,
we
but
were getting suited up, and
Well,
Woody was shirtless,
Totally
and
is.
I'm telling you what, this guy's buff. It's making me jealous. So
I'm trying to get back, but it's hard because I've got like around my waist. There's new things growing, and I can't really do anything about it. But that's fine. But we did eat Jackson's ice cream today. It was so good. Let me see what else is. Trying to read the questions. Let's see.
well, that's good.
Jonathan, you have to come to Dahab. It said Dahab. Oh, they're flying. They're
Oh,
flying.
they're coming so fast.
It's hard to see.
Put your finger on it, it won't go away.
Shout out to Gus.
Looking good.
Is that Terry? Is
On
Scuba
his
Girls?
journey.
Is that Terry?
Probably.
Okay, Terry, is that you?
What is the maximum operating depth, MOD? That's a great question. So that depends. Now, we are going to take this unit all the way up through classes of what's called normoxic. Normoxic will probably be as much as 180 to 200 feet maximum operating depth. That'll be right, but we're not there yet. We're starting the first class as a no decompression dive to 100 feet. Maximum operating depth, though, is controlled a lot by your gas because you can't exceed certain partial pressures. So if you have too high of an oxygen mix in the bailout gas that you have, you could be far beyond the outer limits of the right partial pressure. Typically, we don't ever want to be above 1.6. That dictates it more. But for this unit, we will not certify people beyond 200 feet, which I don't do
It's
very
plenty.
many 200-foot dives, to be
it's-
honest
it's
with you.
plenty.
Like, I don't remember the last time I did one.
It's a recreational
It's
retreat.
not meant for that, but it certainly, we've had it tested for that, and it did great. The tests were amazing. So, best way to answer that. Okay, now I gotta do some surgery on my regular.
Is it okay to start go diving as a larger guy? Of course,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I'm gonna go grab.
What's your recommendation for a beginner camera, Jonathan? They're asking.
A beginner camera.
Yeah. Dude, where is the?
It depends on how much of a beginner. I mean, I assume we're talking about an underwater camera.
Okay,
Right?
I guess so.
Most people start with a GoPro, and as much as I'm not a huge fan of GoPros, like for a modest price, you can get into a camera that's waterproof to a reasonable dive depth that delivers, not bad quality. It's a beginner camera.
Yeah.
You're gonna outgrow it and you're gonna go to something better. But to start out, if you're just starting out, like a GoPro with the underwater housing, not just a regular waterproof GoPro. It's only waterproof to like 20 feet.
Yeah.
But
Very nice.
if you get the little $50 waterproof housing, the GoPro is actually not bad. What makes it a lot better is having some video lights on it. So if you can, afford like one.
Well, people do like
LED
what is
light.
it, the Dive Plus or whatever, where they film without lights and then it adds the color. That never looks good.
It never
looks
looks
terrible. Just use lights.
Yeah, you just use lights. The only way that sometimes works is in like modest depth, like 20 feet.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to shoot like a big reef where there's no way your light would do anything, you use one of those red filters and it helps bring out those longer wavelengths that get lost in the blue water.
Yeah.
But like anything deeper than like that, forget it. Get a video light. The biggest thing you can do to improve the quality of underwater video is not to improve the camera, but to improve the light.
And your skills. Like I really enjoy the session that you delivered at the meetup last year, and a lot of people commented and wanted to see it again because you basically taught everyone like these are the top 10 tips to shoot better underwater footage, and it was so good. Like like things like make sure every shot you take is at least 30 seconds. Like simple things like that. Don't just be like click click. Like
Right.
come on, like that. That was nothing. So people still talk about
disease is what we call that.
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it took us a while to break Todd of that because he
It's
comes
true.
from a
Yeah.
still photo background.
Yeah.
So he would just be thinking like, hit record, okay, I got it, turn it off. And it it was a great shot, but it was only 3 seconds. What am I gonna do with that? Right? So, count to 10, man.
That's a good rule, actually. Count
Absolutely.
to 10. At least 10.
At least 10.
Yeah.
More than that is better.
Yes. If you
20
get to
is
60, though, you probably need to
You
stop.
might have gone too far.
Yeah. Do you have to have a Perdix for the Go? So you have to have a 4-pin computer. There's a couple of options on that. You can get a petrol or you can get a Nerd, which is a computer that mounts right by your eye like a heads-up display.
Todd loves those.
Yes.
Yep.
That's my favorite. That's what I'll probably be
So you have
adding
those
on.
two options. And then for a second computer, a backup computer, there's also options in that. You can get a Tarek, you can get a Perdix, you can get another petrol. I mean, there's
It's
multiple options.
interesting that Shearwater owns this market now. Like, it doesn't seem like there's a competitor, is there?
I mean, technically you can do CCR mode on like the Garmin computer, and I think the new Apex computer can do that too and whatnot. But Shearwater is so reliable, and they just own that.
They're really good at it.
A lot of rebreather manufacturers have their own, their own thing, their own
Right.
computer that works only for Poseidon or works only for whatever, But when it comes to computers for the Go, we decided to trust a company that knows what they're doing a lot more than us, and that's why we use Shearwater Electronics.
And I love the fact that I already know how to use it because it's the same one I have on the other rebreather.
Exactly.
So I turn it on, I can go to the menus, and I can set it the way I like it. And
Yeah, and for me that I dive, 4 different units, the fact that it's 4-pin and all of them are 4-pin, I can just transfer my computer from the Spirit to the Sidewinder to the Go to the Sidekick. All of them are the same. So that's really useful. You don't have to buy a computer every time.
Yeah. I agree with that.
All right. Let's see, who else? Any more questions about the Go or us? I like the question about the camera. That was good.
How expensive is the scrubber?
That's a good question.
I'm going to tell you, I think per fill, I think we figured out is like between like $6 and $8.
Okay,
I think somebody has figured that
Yeah,
out.
so a
before.
can of Sorb is about $200.
So let's figure it out.
And
There
you
we
can
go.
do 11.
Let's do this. I know what he's about to do. This is good.
This is a tub, as we call it, a tub of Sorb. This happens to be the Sofna line brand. There are other brands. This one's one of the most popular with rebreathers. This stuff didn't start out being for rebreathers. It started out being for anesthesia machines in hospitals. Now, it's ironic that now in hospitals, they generally have gotten away from using granular, where you have to pack it. They tend to use self-packed replaceable canisters that you just take it out and put the new one in. You don't have to mess around with a bunch of powder. But this stuff is great in the rebreather because it's a lot cheaper. And with a rebreather, you do go through a fair amount of it. So, making it cheaper is good, right? So this is $200. I bought this locally at 4C Scuba right down the street here in Florida. I bought 2 of them. So $400. And this is
44 pounds of Sorb.
this is it 44 pounds? It's all in kilos. I'd have to convert it.
20 kilos.
In any case, so
It's about 10
We're
bucks.
using 4 pounds.
and so we're using 4 pounds. So this is 11 fills
Correct.
of a rebreather, of this rebreather, and each fill is good for, what are we saying, maximum of 3 hours, but
Yeah.
more like 2.5 hours is more like the recommended. So if you say 2.5 hours times 11, that's a lot of diving.
Yeah.
That's a lot of diving.
Yeah. So,
So-
if you fill it up once before you go out diving for 2+ hours, that's 10. Let's just say round it up to $10 or whatever of Sorb. So it's not. I think the biggest expense with a rebreather is acquiring the rebreather, but then to dive it is not that much.
Like
Once you own it,
Sorb has
yeah.
gone up.
Yeah, Sorb has gone up in price too. The last time we bought Sorb, it was $157. Now it's up to 200, and I've seen it for 220. I've seen it for it can get more expensive. So
Yeah.
all right, let's see. What other questions? Should we start wrapping up here?
What we should do
Yeah.
is let's go fill some O2 and let's show them your scuba mobile.
Oh, nobody wants to see the van.
No, they want to see your scuba mobile.
All right, let's see. What's the recommended experience before rebreather diving?
What's the
Did I miss the launch date? People are asking what's the recommended experience before rebreather diving, but maybe we should go and fill O2. That way we make progress.
Yeah, let's
on
make
the
some
task
progress.
of the day, and you can
All right,
just
let's go fill
you can
some
just
stuff.
hold the phone while we do it.
I mean, what would you say? Like a person should have how many? Like a lot of people would argue that you might be better off to just start with a rebreather, because you know what? You have to unlearn all that open circuit stuff.
Absolutely.
I could pull up the standards and tell you that that's
Is it like
what they want.
All right, we're going outside.
One second to answer that.
I don't know what the Wi-Fi is outside though.
Oh,
So
that's a problem. If we lose you guys, it wasn't because we cut you off.
right. We've been showing the Go for hours.
Oh yeah, it's really dark. We have lights in this thing. You have lights in this thing, right?
Yeah. It's not that bad. The iPhone does a decent job. So we're opening the van. And we're going to be
Ooh, look at the scuba van.
topping off the O2 and the dill, both.
Yeah.
But the dill is all in the white band.
It's all in the back of the van.
We have this tank right here. Yeah. All right, let me hand you that.
All right, here we go. Can we flip the camera around? Let's flip the camera around. Yeah, here we go. Oh, hang on a second. I'm gonna clean this camera. Don't mind my shirt, you guys. There we go. Oh, that's not much better. All right, so we're coming in here. So there's a mixing panel here. And then coming all the way down to the front.
This is such a mess right
I know, but that's what happens when you're actually using it. Yeah. The Scuba van. So look at this. We've got oxygen bottles over here. And we've got some blended nitrox, pre-blended nitrox. And we've got some storage for suits. And we've got a whole bunch of tools and parts. And then in the back, Gus and Woody's Seacraft scooters that are set up not only on a stand, but with chargers.
It's very,
And
just
some
to answer their
more
question,
rebreathers.
it's very low. Is all you have to do to be qualified to take this course for the Dive Talk Go is nitrox certified. You have to have logged 20 open water dives and you have to be 18 years old. That's it.
That's it?
That is it.
Wow, that's pretty good.
now. Ready to fill?
We are ready to fill. And so we're probably going to need the booster pump on these babies now, right?
Let's do it.
So we've got down here, there's a booster pump. This is the fill station. We're firing up. All right, I'm going to pass this off to you.
Sure, we may not have to boost because we do have 2 banks. We have 2 oxygen banks. So we
Okay.
can just fill whatever we can with the first bank and
Okay.
then use the other one. All right, let's see what people can see. Okay, here we go.
Do you want me to put the car lights on? Get you some more light?
You want more light?
Put these car headlights on.
No, we should have enough light, I think. All right, so this is the advantage of having a dive shop
A dive shop
on
in
wheels.
your van.
Yeah, filling O2
Do some
and nitrox. Here are DPVs. We actually have 4 DPVs in this van. There's one down there, and then these 2, and then my beautiful sidekick. I miss you. I'll take you diving soon. I promise. I promise. Don't be afraid. Okay. All right, here we go.
Doing a little filling.
Yeah. I don't know if there were any questions coming. I think Thomas asked if we're gonna meet a DEMA. Are you guys gonna be a DEMA this year?
Us?
Jonathan, do you know? Vegas?
I don't think so. We went this past year, but the Vegas one is coinciding with the F1 race, and
Well, the F1 race is like a week later or something like that. Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see. I'm not definitely ruling it out.
Nice. Anyway, so this is our booster. So what this thing does, this humongous thing does, is that it can boost the levels of oxygen higher than it is in the bank. So I don't know if you can see right here, but we're about 2200 psi. Okay, so if we wanted to fill that tank to 3000, we only have 2200. So what can we do? We can fire this puppy right here, and once we fire that, the booster will kick in and continue to go as long as we want.
Do we want to take these little babies up to 3,000 for 2 hours tomorrow? We got 2
We
hours.
can.
I
We
think
can.
need to.
Well, let me know when you're done with that. I'll open the second bank.
Okay, we're there.
We're there? Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, actually, let's top all of them off with this bank, and then we'll run the second bank for all of them. Yeah.
Roger that.
Lost the signal, it says. What?
What?
I hope we didn't lose the signal. No.
Great. So I need 2 more tanks out here.
Somebody says what speed of oxygen we're filling at. Super safe.
Very
speeds.
slow. Crazy slow.
All right, hold on. Let me see if I can turn off the Wi-Fi. Make smooth. Let me know what you guys think. We're now on just the regular network.
O2 bottle kicking about.
Yeah, it's right in the O2 bin, right?
All right, guys. Well, it's not a whole lot of connection out here. That's mine. Tiny.
Very nice. Look at these cute little tanks. Look how cute they are. They're so cute.
All right. So we're filling. So we keep the large tanks here in the back. Aluminum 80s, LP 85s, that kind of thing. And then we have another place up front where we can have the small ones like aluminum 40s, LP 50s. Yeah, I tried to convince Woody to get a Starlink in the band, but he was like, we're never gonna use that. Well, here we are.
Here we are.
Crossing that bridge.
It's going very well.
All right, I think we probably are gonna
Sign off.
call it a
Gonna
night.
sign off. Thanks everybody for joining us. That was a great fun live stream.
Yeah, let me flip it so people can see.
Thanks everybody.
Yep,
We got
thanks
a few-
guys.
A few more hours of fills and it's pretty boring, so we'll spare
Yeah.
you. Thanks
lot
for
more
joining
fun.
us though.
Yep, we'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you.